at the
Oh,
bottom.
glad to see you turning in.
Morning, Mike, and morning, Gary. Welcome to the show. This is Talking Niagara this morning, and we will be saying some things about Donald Trump.
Well, let me put it this way for Gary. Yes, yeah, talking Trump because it's impossible not to talk about him. Let's put it this way: if Donald Trump was into self-deprecating humor, he would have endless amounts of material.
in the true Toastmaster sense, eh?
He'd have incredible. He could go on for 1,000 years at stand up every day doing self-deprecating comments on himself. But he's not. He's an egomaniac. So, I mean, a 22-foot gold statue. That's not the only one.
All right.
I think there's 5 or 6 of them in the States.
Okay, so there's a government statement out there on the Gordie Howe Bridge tolls, which basically the Gordie Howe Bridge opens next week. And this I'm reading from Chris Biddle. So I know that Gary, you're going to be switching off, but still, I'm reading this straight from Chris Biddle, his Facebook post. He says the Gordie Howe International Bridge opens July 27th. Despite some commentary, the facts are straightforward. Canada will keep 100% of the bridge's toll revenue until the $6.4 billion cost for the bridge has been repaid. This isn't a new border crossing. It's a generational investment, and it will strengthen the busiest trade corridor in North America, improve supply chains, support billions in economic activity, and create new opportunities for businesses and workers on both sides of the border. There has been confusion about the new agreement, so here's what it actually does. Canada is not sharing toll revenue with the United States. The agreement creates a 15-year economic development fund financed by 50% of future net profits, not toll revenues. These profits only exist after the operating costs are paid and only once the bridge is generating a surplus. If these profits are realized, they will be reinvested in transportation, border infrastructure, and economic development projects to strengthen the Windsor-Detroit corridor and to make trade more efficient. Bottom line is, Canada keeps the toll revenue. Future net profits, if generated, will be reinvested to strengthen the corridor. And the more successful the bridge is, the greater economic benefits for Canadians, Americans, businesses, and local communities. So that's what Biddle said, and that was kind of repeated by Carney also.
Yes, it's very confusing. Basically, the administration was getting a bit embarrassed because the owner of the nearly 100-year-old bridge, the Ambassador's Bridge, was built in 1928 or 1929. It was completed, so it's nearly 100 years old, and it's under capacity. So the Maroon family had a monopoly on the busiest crossing between Canada and the United States. More stuff goes across there than anywhere else. So obviously, you need another corridor. You need another bridge. The other one is Port Huron and up there in Sarnia, or I think it's Port Huron and Sarnia. Yeah.
Yeah, so, that's the one. Been across that one as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So that you definitely needed another one. When negotiations began back in Harper's time, the Michigan didn't have the money, and didn't want to go into debt.
Yeah.
It wanted the bridge, but it didn't want to go. It couldn't come up with a coin. So Canada fronted the coin and built the bridge. It built the bridge with Canadian labor and U.S. labor.
Yeah.
Canadian steel and U.S. steel. Canadian Concorde that are building it. And then, of course, you get the Maroon family sneaking off to Washington and going to see Howard Lutnick with $1 million in their hand, saying, we need help here. What it turns out is of course, the family knew that this bridge was going to be built. They knew that the deal that was between Michigan and Canada, what they wanted to do was time in which to adjust to the new bridge. And they needed time to get as much profit out of it as they could, try to push the profit line as far as they could. So just a couple of weeks ago, they dropped their fees. Their fees are nearly half of what they used to be in order now to compete with the bridge. The fees on the Ambassador Bridge were among the highest because they had a monopoly, near monopoly. So once the new bridge came up, they had to readjust everything, reduce their profit expectations because now they're not the only one.
Yeah.
So that was part of the reason, apparently, that they went to Howard Lutnick to get that worm-tongued guy to talk to Donald Trump and tell Donald Trump that he didn't really mean what he said in 2017, that it was a great bridge and a great idea and a wonderful thing. Now, all of a sudden, Donald Trump decides to say, oh, no, we need more. We got to get more out of this. The deal was bad and all that, which he never said back in 2017. He lauded the bridge. But, of course, the duplicity of that guy is resounding. He never tells the truth unless it serves his purpose. And unfortunately, we had to go through all that rubbish. But now, hopefully, and everybody's holding their breath because they don't even know, because there's a suggestion among the Republicans that because Canada has wildfires, that they should close the bridge again and keep it closed because there's wildfires. What are they going to do when a hurricane comes out of the Caribbean? Are they going to tariffs on everybody in the Caribbean because a hurricane came through there and hit the United States?
Yeah,
it's an act of nature. We got vast wildernesses up there. And we've got water bombers. We're fighting for our firefighters are fighting forest fires in the United States. There's hundreds of forest fires in the United States too. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, everybody's holding their breath. Once it's open, I don't think they can close it, but everybody's holding their breath. We don't know what this administration will change its mind instantly and close it again or whatever else. But it appears that there is a face-saving solution there.
Yeah.
That in order for the Canadians not to have to go to court and say, here, this is the agreement we signed, and that may take a year or whatever, they decided to make this deal for this 15% future profits thing. I still am confused on how that works, but as long as that damn bridge gets open and the jobs can start kicking in. Once that bridge gets open, there's going to be more work in Michigan and Ontario. There's going to be more exchange of wealth back and forth. It's going to produce jobs. It's going to help people. Big time, it's going to help people. So the sooner the better.
Answer me one thing. Didn't there used to be a tunnel under that river?
There still is.
Still
is. There's a tunnel. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the tunnel is mostly for domestic car traffic. There's not much trucking going over it.
No trucking going over through it. Okay.
Which kind of makes sense.
I believe there was a tunnel. I just was like, yeah, it does make sense because you don't want broken down trucks in a tunnel, do you?
No, but the fact is you take the Port Huron Bridge, you take the Ambassador Bridge and the tunnel, and you are still under capacity.
Yeah.
Right. Which means that the big one, the Ambassador Bridge, the one that was built in 1928 or 29, has a near monopoly on a lot of freight. I think that's what the real problem is. Now that monopoly has gone down, and the Ambassador Bridge now. Yeah. And I don't get it.
well,
Republicans are these people that hate monopolies. Republicans are the people that are supposed to hate monopolies, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Well, I remember going across that bridge back, a few years ago, and there was 3/4 of all things that were going across that bridge were trucks, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good, solid bridge. It was built well, but there's just not enough. The new bridge has got 3 lanes.
It's
right?
clear that it's not enough.
It'll be competitively priced. The tolls will come out, and that's good. It's going to push the tolls down for everyone. That means we get a break because we don't get charged the tolls, because who pays for the tolls is the consumer, right?
Yeah.
The company doesn't pay for the toll. The company passes the tolls off to the consumer.
Yeah, of course. All right. Okay. So it will be open on July 27th.
Yes, and it seems that the Maroon family were more interested in delaying the bridge opening so that they could make as much money as they can in the last few months of monopoly, and then transition to lower fares.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on. So a Welland single mum becomes a Habitat for Humanity homeowner. I actually like this program that Habitat for Humanity have been doing. Basically, put people in homes where there's a rent-to-own type agreement in place that allows them to become homeowners.
Well, first of all, I have a problem with it because there are so many people out there that could use help like this. So they go around and they pick a candidate and they build the house for them when there's hundreds that could use it. How do they pick which one they're going to build the house for?
It's a very good
it really sounds good. It really, really sounds good and all of that. And I like the idea myself too. But if I was a poor person trying to get ahead and I knew somebody that got Habitat for Humanity and I didn't, I'm still trying to make it in that hot.
You'd be a bit pissed, wouldn't you?
Airless apartment, that little like 1,000 square foot apartment with my 3 kids, and the air conditioner can't keep up. And then my neighbor goes and gets a nice house in beautiful conditions and everything else. And I'm thinking, I deserve that too. I'm a bingo caller. Oh, wait a minute, I'm off track here. I mean, what a bummer that must feel like for people who actually know this person. Why? That's a nice thing, but I mean, it's so small and exclusive. It just doesn't seem fair. I mean, it's nice for the recipient family, and I congratulate them, and I'm glad that family is now going to look like they're going to prosper and be very comfortable.
Well,
why can't we do it for everyone?
There was about they only focused on this news article. They only focused on the one person, but there was about 30 new homes, I believe, opened on Plymouth Road in Welland.
I missed that. Then I missed that.
Yeah, there were there was not just 4 other families, not 30. Okay, 4 other families.
Well, still, I reiterate, 4 families got it out of 400 that need it.
Yeah. And you're right.
I mean, it's nice.
You're right.
It's like they won the lottery. So every once in a while somebody wins the lottery, but you got to think to yourself, all the other families that are in desperate straits. Yeah. How did they pick this one, and why that one was better than another one? And
Yeah.
But I mean, it is nice. It's a very nice thing to do, all that. But like I said before, it's there's too little. If you're going to do it for one, you should do it for
absolutely, it is too little. We need more of these homes. There are some homes being built in the McLeod and between McLeod and Dunn, around about where Mike lives. There's a few of these, another 4 or 5 of these homes being built there.
Yeah,
we talked about that the whole plan of about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, anyway, I think we're pretty well flogged it to death, and congratulations to those families. And I only can think of the ones that didn't get it, and the desperate situation that so many of our fellow Niagarans are in.
Yeah. All right. Got some comments before we move on. Who cares? If you don't have trade agreement with the US, a buy Canada. Yeah, that's presumably back at the bridge. Hi guys. Did you watch World Cup fans yesterday? Spain steam. Well, I don't know. 1-0 is not steamrollering, but still.
Well, he's right about the shots. At least Argentina only got 3 shots on goal.
Well, I was looking at the stats. There was only 1. There may have been 3 shots, but only 1 was even on target.
Well, I don't know how they gauge that, but
yeah,
Spain was a dominant player. But one of 3 shots could have gone in too. You never know.
Oh, absolutely. All it takes is 1 shot, and if you'd have put that one in, in front, all it takes is 1 shot to have suddenly been 1-0 up at a different stage in the game. You know what I mean? And hey, I was even more fascinated by the England-France game that England scored. They scored 10 goals in that game, but England were 4-0 up at the end of the first half.
I didn't watch that. I didn't watch any of them. I just watched the one where the Canadians were in. That's it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so anyway, this is for Gary. When Trump went on the stage, everybody booed him. Then he wouldn't get off the stage. He was trying to hog the hunt. I guess Infantino tried to drag him off the stage after they gave the presentation. They're supposed to leave the stage to the athletes, but Trump wouldn't go. He just kept hanging out. Hey, and Trump's still waiting for his trophy, by the way. He doesn't know where it is.
But he also said, by the way, Dave, he also said now it's time for the US to have this tournament on our own.
That's good. That's good. That's very, very good. The reason why it had the 3 different countries is because aside from Mexico, Canada, and the United States, soccer is relatively new.
They were celebrating the enlargement of the tournament.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what Infantino, the guy that runs FIFA, he took a very unproductive, very corrupt organization, so corrupt that the U.S. was going to put FIFA under racketeering charges. That's how corrupt it was. So Infantino is just as corrupt, but he's very efficient. He uses his ability to corrupt people and places and things to expand the scope of FIFA. So everybody's in this situation where he's very effective at expanding FIFA, making it more worldwide. On the other hand, everybody's appalled by his things like making a peace prize for Trump.
Yeah.
And and allowing Trump to phone him and change a call. That kind of thing. So the corruption is there for sure, but he is much more effective. And I guess you got to take the good with the bad. He's made the game much better worldwide, but in the meantime, he's used his abilities to corrupt. Whereas FIFA before that were dumb and corrupt. This guy's smart and corrupt.
Yeah. Canada had no choice. Our geography is our enemy. Despite strained relations with the US, the US still will be the biggest trading partner in Canada. Trump knows this, and he can screw Canada. And Ricky said,
yeah. Let's put it this way. Why do you think that bridge is there? Nobody thinks the trade's going to tail off that significantly between Canada and the US.
Absolutely.
Because it serves both the Canada and U.S. And I will point this out too, that the Congress, a Republican Congress and a Republican Senate, both had symbolic votes to keep the USMCA agreement going. Yeah. So if Trump tried to take it to the Congress and withdraw from it, he's not going to get too far, because these are Republicans that like the USMCA.
And by the way, Carney was at the World Cup final as well with the trophy presentation.
Yes, because he's one of the heads of state of the of the three things. Yeah, I don't think he got nearly as many boos, but I'm sure he'll work on that, because he's pretty new to the game right now.
Okay. So in terms of that, Trump threatens to increase tariffs because of the wildfire smoke that unnecessarily invaded the USA. There you go.
Yes.
There you go. There you go, Mike. No, not Mike. Gary.
Wilkins News. Wilkins
Gary. Here we go. Turning into talking Trump. There we go. Like Gary said at the beginning.
Now we're over to it. Yes. Well, I have a warning for the people of the Caribbean. The next time they have a hurricane go through there and it happens to hit the United States, Trump is going to tariff you. Let's put it there carefully. You should have known better. You should have been able to stop the hurricane before it comes. It is no longer an act of nature. You are responsible, just like we are responsible for the wildfires that hit a drought-ridden Northern Ontario. Also, no consideration should be put out there for the 1,700 Canadian firefighters that are working on U.S. firefights, forest fires at this time, and no consideration should be put out there for the Canadian forest firefighter that died in Colorado fighting an American forest fire. And let me ask you, where are the U.S. forest fire people coming? We got them from South Africa last year. We got them from Australia last year. We didn't get any Americans, did we? But Canadian firefighters go down there all the time, don't they? And that is because the pumpkin is unbelievably stupid. I mean, that is extreme ignorance. And I mentioned this last week, that only Republicans are complaining about this. The Democrats are asking how they can help Canada, help with mitigating this. The Republicans are blaming Canada for wildfires. Yeah, we have a whole lot to do with Mother Nature there. We've got firefighters, we got firefighter planes, we got everything. All our resources are trying to turn towards there. And so why don't they lend us a few? How about that? We always lend you some.
Here's the thing, Dave. You see, what has been happening this entire last few days is Doug Ford has been out there with this giant fan blowing the air masses, blowing the smoke towards the US, hasn't he?
Yeah, his advertisement at the World Series didn't work so well, so he's got the big fans going now.
Yeah. Blow it across the border. Get rid of it. Yeah, like that's actually going to resolve anything, you know?
Well, here's a fact that I wish they would bring up. 50% of Ontario's pollution, one half of Ontario's air pollution, comes from where?
United States.
Comes from the United States.
Yeah.
If we eliminated what Americans, their coal burning plants and all that, and of course their bazillions of cars, floats into Ontario, because that's the way the prevailing winds do. I think we should take them to court. I mean, if they're blaming us for a wildfire that will go out pretty soon, within a month or so, but that pollution that comes in from the United States every day doesn't stop. It's every day. I mean,
when we had this rain on Saturday, it freshened things up. Actually, Sunday was okay as a day. It wasn't. It was not. It was hot, but it wasn't sweaty hot.
Well, there was some rain in northern Ontario too, not enough to put the fires out, but enough to
No, I
hold them
get it.
back a little bit. Man.
Yeah, and it's and when you look out the window right now, when I look out the window, the sunshine. There's some haziness in the upper atmosphere, which you would expect because of the sun, the thing. But that special thing with the orange particles was very unusual, very rare.
It could be from the firefighter, or all those orange particles could become from the incredible exhaust from the Great Pumpkin down in Washington. There, the Orange Man has spoken with his orange bath and taken out of the sun.
All right. Okay, so let's bring that one. Okay, so where am I?
So it's ridiculous. It's selfish the way in which they're talking about this. Republicans are demanding that Canada act better and stop wildfires in the vast wilderness we have. Meanwhile, they just said nothing about the ones going on in Minnesota, did they? Which are right on the border with Ontario. And they didn't say anything about the Ontario firefighters that risked their lives to save the American campers that were in Ontario, did they? None of that.
Yeah.
They don't mention 9/11. They don't mention any of that stuff. We don't mention all our firefighters that went down to California and other places. Don't mention our linemen that went down to South Carolina and North Carolina during ice storms, did they? Because they're selfish and foolish Republicans. I don't know. They just don't have as many brain cells as Democrats, obviously.
Right. See, Trump sends a message to Canada, and the skies are clear now. When Trump talks, people listen.
I still say that orange cloud up there has his result, not the fire's result. But anyway, I'll take your.
No. You got it wrong, Dave. Watch this statement. It comes from China. Thank you, Ricky.
Thanks. Yeah, that's right. Not only did the Chinese meddle with the vote, they also produce orange smoke for some reason.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right. All right. Yeah. Okay, so USW members basically looking at they're on strike at Salit Steel right now, and they're basically looking for a collective agreement that protects fair wages, pensions, benefits, and negotiated workplace rights.
Yeah, I put this up here late this morning because I realized I hadn't put one up like this, which I intended to do last week.
No,
thank you. Mike filled us in with what the problem was with Salit Steel and the noise complaints and things like that. And Salit Steel is suing the city for allowing residential areas so close to industrial.
Yeah.
Just to review that, the residential areas in and around Thundering Waters and all that complain about the industrial noise that come from the factories and the steel yard that was there that was long before the residents were in there, and there's noise violations. So Mr. Cohen, who owns, I think he owns, or at least he runs Salit Steel, is suing the city of Niagara Falls because he had to switch a lot of his operations from Niagara to his other places.
I'd have to say that I've been in and around Salit Steel many times over many years, and I have to admit that, hey, put my hand up. I was driving through. I wasn't walking by. I wasn't living there. But I've never found Salit Steel to be particularly noisy.
Right now they're not, because they had to remove a lot of their operations. So it could have been more noisy than it is right now. Well, and if they're running shifts and going into night, and Washington Mills is right across the street. I mean, I worked in there, man. They got like a big electric furnaces and all that other stuff. It makes noise.
Yeah.
And once upon a time when nobody lived out there, that's just fine. That was industrial area. And I think the city was imprudent by allowing residences to move up against designated industrial land.
You made them exactly my point. Is when I was down there, the time when I was down there, all the time when I'm down there, there's been more noise from Washington Mills than there has ever been from Salit Steel. Right, Salit Steel, they're basically just largely moving pieces of steel around, and they're shipping them out from there. A lot of these are actually put together elsewhere, I believe.
Look, I don't know. They've moved operations out of there, which is a problem for Salit Steel, which means it's a problem. It's a problem for the workers there. What we want is Salit Steel to employ as many people as it can and operate there as well as it can as it did before. So what we want is Salit Steel to keep the workers there, keep production there, so we here in Niagara Falls can have more people to get a job.
Yeah.
And but that aside, we're talking about the strike right now. We talked about that last week. So the strike here is basically the United Steelworkers have gone on strike, and they're the only ones. The other plants, the other Salit Steel operations are not, but they are in solidarity with Salit Steel in Niagara Falls. And basically, they're just looking for this. They turned down the contract that was offered to them, and they want better conditions, better pensions, better benefits. The last thing they talked about was wages, but a lot of times was very, very important to is the benefits and pensions that come out of here, and I don't blame them. That's what you want to do. You want to make secure pensions, and also I would. We had a very good system in our union because we were a construction union. We came up with something, and I'm pretty glad that we had a lot of Scotsmen in our highest offices in the union, because they were very, very good with money. Let me tell you, that is that rumor that Scotsmen are good with money is proven by our union, because all the other construction unions all found themselves into big problems. Our people said, we know nothing about investment, nothing at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our big funds and we're going to divide them between 3 money managers, all professionals. And we're going to divide it between these 3 money managers. And every year we're going to check on them. And the ones that do the best we'll keep, and the third one, if it doesn't do any good, we'll get rid of it. And I was a voting delegate, and I remember going to those meetings, and each one of the money managers would present how they invested our money and how it was doing. And one year we had one outfit that didn't perform very well, so we dumped them. That's millions of dollars we took away from them and gave them to someone else to invest. And, they were instructed to invest conservatively. So I saw the Boilermakers, the ironworkers, I think the carpenters too. They all lost money like crazy because they thought that they could do the investment on their own. So I would say to any of those union members there at Salit Steel, take a quick, good, hard look at your pension funds. Make sure that the company cannot take them and use them somewhere else. Make sure that they are secure, because any kind of loophole in your contract, and that company may be able to use those pension funds for its own investment, like Stelco Steel did when they took the pensions away from the pension fund away from the workers, and that reduced the amount of pensions those guys got later on.
Okay, so here's a point. So let's point this out, because we have to take action on this one. And Thorold needs to take immediate action on this one. Ricky Pizzicato makes noise. So better evict him from Thorold. Yeah, sorry, Ricky. You opened yourself up to that one. Yeah,
Ricky was there before. Ricky was there before Thorold was there, so I don't know.
That's right.
I don't know.
That is absolutely right. So he's been making noise for centuries.
That's right. Well done, my friend. Well done.
All right. Anything else on the strike?
Nothing. I just wanted to bring it up because
Yeah.
I'm a brother union guy, and as imperfect as unions are, believe me, you don't want the capitalist swine in your pockets. Oh no, they will make you work for pennies. That's just the way it is. If you ever see any of those old pictures of guys going down in the mining, crammed in big elevators going down into the mines, and the mines blowing up because they're taking in people losing their arms and legs in industrial accidents with no recourse, working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, for pennies. That's why unions are here. Right? That is what stopped. The unions are the ones that stopped communist revolutions, by the way, because the people weren't going to take it any longer if the rich didn't share a little bit. Anyway, moving on.
All right. Okay, so Ma'am Danny basically is saying Netanyahu belongs in the Hague, and he wants to arrest him if he steps foot in New York City.
Hooray for Ma'am Danny. Netanyahu is and has been a war criminal from the very beginning. He has persecuted Palestinians. That's his sort of love thing he does. He belongs to the Likud party, and the number one thing in the Likud party says, from the river to the sea. We talk about Palestinians saying that right back to them, and everybody, the news agents here are so ignorant, they don't even follow up on anything. So everybody's all excited. Oh my God, the Palestinians want to push the Jews right out past the Jordan River. It's actually Likud came up with the saying first. They want to push all the Palestinians out of what is the West Bank, Israel, and Gaza, and push them out and make the whole country from the river to the sea an ethno-religious state. This guy belongs in the Hague. He should be in prison. He is a war criminal. And I agree with Ma'am Danny. But don't forget, if Putin shows up, you do the same thing. He's also a war criminal. Look at you know what I mean?
Well, again, there's a couple of things here. You can't arrest him until he's outside of JFK, for example, if he comes to JFK, right?
Why?
It would actually have to be.
Why?
Because that's international land,
No, it's
international territory. The port, it's a port.
As soon as he lands and goes through customs, that's it. He's in.
Yeah, once he's in on the American side from customs, yes. But I think you'll find that JFK is not part of New York City.
Well, they would have to. The federal government could arrest him at the airport, but it doesn't matter. He ain't going to get. Let's put it this way. Let's be realistic about this. He ain't going to get arrested because there are too many friends of too many people that depend on AIPAC money for their campaigns, and they're going to make sure they protect him if he does come here. And although I would not give him much chances if he landed in France. If he landed in Britain is weak on this, very, very weak. Netanyahu would probably be able to dance all over the place. He could probably do anything he wants in Britain, but if he landed in France are going to grab him. If he lands in Italy, Italy is going to grab him.
Also, the Scandinavian countries have said they will put the plane down. They will put his plane down if he's on it, right?
Yeah. So that's
escort it to the ground, right?
Yeah.
And arrest.
It's going to be like Pinochet. Do you remember Pinochet? Do you remember the Brits had to arrest Pinochet the Chilean, in this particular case, fascist dictator Pinochet. He was charged by the World Court. They grabbed him in Britain. Maggie Thatcher, who just loved dictators, was appalled by that. Remember, Maggie Thatcher and Ronald Reagan were the last two to support Pinochet and the last two to support apartheid in South Africa. It's all about money. Anyway, so yeah, I believe that Netanyahu should be grabbed, put in prison, put in the Hague. I do.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But we know it isn't going to happen.
Mike Cushman says, Stephen Coyne asking for concessions when we all know how much things have gone up shows you the tyrant you are dealing with. Okay. So I don't know Mr. Coyne at all, but it seems that Mike knows him a little bit better. And Mike also says, how many country leaders are guilty of war crimes right now? Netanyahu, Putin, Trump. Who is doing anything about it? No, nobody's doing anything about it. Yeah, there's lots of war crimes out there. The problem is the International Court of Justice has zeroed in on Netanyahu and the IDF and Gallant, who went ahead and precipitated a genocide. From the very beginning of the war, they cut off water and food and medicine from the very beginning, and they stated as such. So they began their genocide with a direct attack on the ordinary people.
All right. And also, Mike is right in saying, do you think Trump would let Netanyahu be arrested on U.S. soil? The thing is that if Mamdani did arrest him on the U.S. side of customs, he would have to literally have a plane ready on the tarmac and be putting him on that plane and flying him. It would have to be flying to the Hague before the federal feds got involved. Even knew it happened.
Well, it's not going to happen. Let's put it this way very clearly: it is not going to happen. Mamdani is right. Netanyahu should be in court. Of all the people that were mentioned there by Cushman, Netanyahu is by far the worst. I mean, Putin would be maybe a second place, but Netanyahu's been doing this his whole career, and for many, many years. Look what he just did. He sucked Trump into that war in Iran, using the same, weapons of mass destruction type argument that Bush fell for. Netanyahu finally pulled it off after saying for 40 years Iran is minutes away from having an atomic bomb, and Trump's the only one that fell for it. And now he can't get out of that war. And Netanyahu's just, wringing his hands in delight. Finally, I got the guy locked into a forever war. And Trump's going to bomb the crap out of Iran over and over and over again. And that ain't going to make much of a difference. It's just going to go on and on and on. And they're going to spend more and more and more money, hundreds of billions of dollars, bombing Iran, blocking up the ports, getting nowhere, where the oil prices continue to rise. Thank you very much, the great pumpkin.
Yeah.
You dumbass.
Okay, so the Times of India basically made a comment about, after paying $32,000 in tuition fees for 2 years, Indian students in Canada are now told they're not eligible for postgraduate work permit. And this was a change that we know about and we talked about here before on the show. So basically, it sounds like this has just gotten back to India now, after some of these people have returned back to India.
No, I don't. I think
it's not just India, by the way. It's not just
the Indians have been very aware of it for a very long time. I think the Indians have been aware of it for a very long time.
But what I'm saying is the students are returning right now to India. after the end of their their studies.
Well, it's just making it has already made the Indian press. It's made our press. It's just another in a series of what's happening. And they're saying things like, after paying $32,000 tuition fee for 2 years, Indian students in Canada told they are not eligible for graduation work permit. But if you go down a little further, it says thousands of students, mostly Indians, who attended business management diploma program offered through Portage College and Canadian Institute of Osteopathy Therapy in Calgary are in limbo, as they're not getting graduation work permit from Canada. But if you read a little further, the graduates claimed that the Canadian immigration changed a rule that made non-credit programs eligible for a work permit. That is the key right there. They got sucked into going into programs that have a non-credit program.
Yeah.
If you go to work and you say, well, let me see your education, here it is here, and it's a non-credit program, what good is that?
Yeah.
That means it doesn't measure up to the rest of the standards that every other school is teaching. It's non-credit. If you can't get a credit, what good is it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's for sure. It's like you go to school, you do your medical degree, and they say, yeah, but it's a non-credit medical degree.
These are non-accredited universities and colleges. So unfortunately for these students, someone's come along and said, look, you come to our college over here in Calgary, and guess what? You'll get a job when you finish, right? We'll teach you. It's a non-credited school, but don't worry about that. So your certificate or whatever you get, we're going to make sure you get one. And that's your in for being in Canada. That's what they were told by whoever was soliciting them back in India. So over they come, they pay their money and go to an unaccredited college or university and say, here's my my diploma that means nothing because it's non-accredited. And of course, Canada says, well, no, we don't want you. We want people with accreditation. We want the ones that went to the real courses.
Yeah. And it's tough on them because they worked their butts off just as any other students did on properly accredited courses.
And here's the sad thing here is my father spent his whole lifetime saving for me, says Jess Pinder Carr. Told, after completing my 2 years of study, I thought I would be able to work and gain some Canadian experience. And of course, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because there were so much scams going on, and these universities opened up or colleges opened up. Like we were told, a lot of them were just like parking lot type. A lot of the people who did get student visas came over and didn't even attend their classes, just kind of disappeared into the ether.
Yeah.
So that's why Canada's getting rid of them. If you went to the University of Toronto and got your degree in business management or physics or whatever it is, engineering, sure, stay. But if you go to the Coconut College down the road and get a piece of paper, say that you've done these courses, too bad, we can't recognize them. That's a sad thing. I think a lot of people in India got sucked in by malicious people who took advantage of them.
It's not the fault of the students or their families.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They get sucked in.
They got sucked in by people who were at these private career colleges who were basically doing, who were, really not playing the system properly, fairly.
Yeah, I talked to, I was last year. I remember talking to, it was the year before last. I was talking to students, and they had expected to stay in Canada, and then Canada comes along and says, no, you got to go back home. And they were fully, they had come under the idea that if they got their education here, they could stay. But Canada says, no, it doesn't work that way, right? I mean, if you have something we want, but if you're the 90th person with hospitality that took hospitality in Niagara College, and there's 100 of you, we maybe need one,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's all about the program. It's all about the college. It's all about, well, at the end of the day,
they were under the idea, just get over here, take anything.
Yeah.
Get over here and take anything, take any course, and then you'll be able to stay. And sadly, they got taken advantage of.
They did, yeah, absolutely. All right. Okay, so there's a few comments here which will go on. The Gordie Howe Bridge ribbon cutting today, July 24th. I think it's July 27th.
It's July 27th. Is ostensibly, we don't know what if there's going to be another reason.
It's July 20th.
There are some Republicans calling for the bridge to be delayed. There's some Republicans who are calling for the bridge opening to be delayed because of the wildfires. So I guess as soon as the rain comes and the wildfires go down, then they'll open it up again. How dare Canada not allow it to rain as soon as it could?
And by the okay. Ribbon cutting, so this Friday? No, I think it's Monday. My understanding. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
So I just like to point that out again. The Democrats in the United States are asking Canada how they can help. From Massachusetts all across, the Democrats, well, how can we help? Can we help you out? What can we do? And the Republicans are saying, we got to sue them. They don't know what they're doing. We got to close the bridge. We got to tariff them. That's the Republican mentality. Right.
All right.
Ignorant.
South Niagara Hospital passes the halfway point in construction, and they basically showed the press around a little bit on it.
Yes. So this is good news. The tower cranes are down. When you get the tower cranes down, like the big heavy slab stuff is done, you're still going to have all kinds of hydraulic cranes moving in and out of there. It's just going to have to happen. But the big tower cranes, they're gone. So it's definitely, there's definitely a situation where you know that there is an end in sight. Yeah. Another 2 or 3 years and that thing should be full up. Remember, it's like something like 200,000 square feet of hospital. It's designed in such a way also that that people can go to different parking lots around the hospital, so they don't have to go through one main hall to go to the different departments. They can move closer to wherever they need to go.
Oh, you mean if they're going to the heart department, they park in one car park. If they're going to accident emergency, it's a different car park.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, yeah, definitely. If you're going to go to X-ray, you go to X-ray, go over there. You don't have to go through the main thing. You go over there. That kind of thing. You know.
Sounds good. The only thing we have to make sure is any money that is raised from parking goes back into the hospital.
Well, I don't think we have anything to say about that. The hospital will probably do that. Usually the tolls in which they take from parking are used to maintain the parking lot, snow removal, repairs, whatever else they need there. That's usually what the money's for. Anything extra would probably just go into the maintenance budget of the hospital. So anything, and that's what parking like that's generally for.
One of the big complaints by St. Catherine citizens is that the parking is actually purely for profit.
Are you sure?
All the profit goes to a third-party corporation. Doesn't go back into the hospital at all.
That third corporation, is that third corporation hired to take care of the parking lot, get the snow off?
I don't know what the relationship is.
So basically what they may have done is subcontract the parking lot, given it to somebody who knows how to run a parking lot, and they take all the profits, but they're responsible for keeping the snow off of it, maintaining it, etc. So that's what I think.
Okay, you might be right. Yeah. Okay, so South Niagara Hospital is kind of, to see the cranes off of there, that's an important step, because obviously once that means the main bulk of the building is done on the outside, right?
That's right. Let it be known to all. Let it be known to all the homeless people that there's lots of shelter there, that you can hang around there now and not have to worry about it getting hit by a tower crane.
Yeah, but they're going to be able to survive in there, people working every day.
Well, you could probably set up camp and just move around the construction site wherever they're working, go to the other part. You might be able to hang out there for a long time, but just put construction clothes on and everybody thinks you're with the company.
Probably. Yeah. Right. So basically, it's all the drywall, all the ceiling, all of the stairwells that have to be finished off. Because in fact, actually, there's a picture in this article which is showing a nice stairwell out there, which basically has no hand railings at all on it.
Yes. Well, yeah, they'll do. That's all prefab stuff, so they just swing it in, and they probably put the handrail on afterwards.
Yeah.
They'll just fly it in through the tower cranes and just sit it in place, and so now you have to put the handrails and all that other stuff. Believe me, there's going to be certain construction handrails on things that the guys are going to go up and down on. Can't get away with doing that anymore. You got to have safety, right?
Yeah, there's absolutely. Well, the construction safety rails are there, on this particular thing. It just shows that happens to be behind where the people are, and obviously they're not working in that area, is a stairwell, which has got,
so we're looking at
no guardrails at all on it.
So anyway, we've hit a threshold for the hospital. So in a couple of years, it'll be open. That's good. It's supposed to have a bigger emergency department, but when it described, it's going to have it didn't look like the emergency department is going to be that big. They're supposed to be able to process people twice as fast. I'll believe it when I see it. And so your 8-hour wait now is reduced to 4 hours, but I still will believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
And with the amount of doctors that aren't there to take over from the doctors that are retiring, those hospitals are going to get pretty full. In any case, we're going to end right now, and I will I will segue back to Gaza, and I will do this all the time. Gaza, Lebanon, West Bank, those people are suffering. They're being spat upon, pushed around. They are denied medical attention, denied education, denied food and water. That is why Netanyahu is up for war crimes, and I hope they do grab him, take him to The Hague, and throw away the key. And basically, it's up to us to look at that and not permit it to happen again. Israel is supposed to be a democracy. It's supposed to have an ethical foundation. It is an ethno-religious state. They're even talking about kicking out the Palestinians that actually live in Israel. In Israel right now, David Ben-Gurion, when he designed Israel in 1948, he said, we will permit 20% Palestinians in our country. That turns out to be about equal 10% Christian Palestinians and 10% Muslim Palestinians. But the weirdos and the freakouts like Ben-Gvir and Smotrich want to get rid of them too. They want to take them and push them right out of the country. They are Israeli citizens. But because they're not Jewish, they're going to throw them out. So it's an ethno-religious state that wants to take the people who are living in those lands for many, many generations, a couple thousand years, and push them out. And seriously, that is not a democracy. I don't care who is talking about that. The white government in South Africa was a democracy for white people, not for everybody in South Africa. And we found that out. And this is the same thing that's happening. The only problem is they have very powerful influence in the United States. Anyway, without further ado, I bid you adieu. Enjoy the cooler weather. Bye-bye.